Good morning, grade 7 students. In this video, we're going to continue our last lesson about respiration. This part is part 3. So first of all, you have to know the structure and the formation of our respiratory system. So respiratory system consists of many organs: the nose, the mouth, the pharynx, the larynx, the trachea, the lungs, the bronchus, the bronchioles, and we have the alveoli, as shown in this figure. But you have to know that the most important organ in the respiratory system of humans, which are mammals, we are humans, we are mammals, is the lungs. So the lungs is the most important part and organ inside the respiratory system. So let's move now to the pathway of the air along the respiratory system. So the pathway of the air, it enters first through the nose, then it moves to the pharynx, to the larynx, to the trachea, to the bronchus, the bronchioles, and finally they reach the air sacs that we call them alveoli. Then, what is the breathing? Breathing is the mechanical intake of air. So whenever we breathe, we take in air and we release air. So taking in air is called inhalation, and releasing the air out is called exhalation. So whenever we get air in, Jude, we call it inhalation. And whenever we release the air outside our body, we call it exhalation. These two, inhalation and exhalation, they form the respiratory movements. Inhalation, as I said, is the process of taking in air, while exhalation is the process of releasing air outside the body. So let's move to this table. This table is showing the different respiratory movements, inhalation and exhalation, and the position of the thoracic cage, the state of the lungs, the volume of the thoracic cage, and the pathway of air. So position of the thoracic cage, whenever I put my hand on my chest, if I put my hand on my chest like this, if I put it here, whenever I inhale, the thoracic cage will raise. Whenever I exhale, it will be lowered. So the thoracic cage will be raised in the case of inhalation, and it will be lowered in the case of exhalation. The state of the lungs. Whenever we inhale, the lungs will be inflated. They will be full of air. So imagine that we have a balloon. We blow inside the balloon will inflate. And this is the case of our lungs. Whereas whenever we have exhalation, the lungs will be deflated. Okay? Volume of the thoracic cage. Volume of the thoracic cage, the thoracic cage will increase during inhalation, while it will damage or will decrease in the case of exhalation. Pathway of air. During inhalation, the air will come from where? From the environment around us, from the medium to my body. It comes from outside to inside. Whereas exhalation, we release the air from our body to outside. So it's inside to the outside. Respiratory movements in insects. All of you, you know that the grasshopper is one of the known insects. This insect is called the grasshopper. In this case, the abdomen is raised. And in the second figure, the abdomen is lowered. So whenever the abdomen is raised or the abdomen is lowered, here we are talking about inhalation and exhalation. So whenever the abdomen is lowered, meaning that it's full of air, so we have inhalation. Whenever it's raised, we have exhalation. So you have to study these notes, these for studying. If the abdomen is lowered, meaning that the grasshopper has inhaled air. During which process? During inhalation. While if the abdomen is raised, this means that the grasshopper, like this case, has exhaled air. So this case, the abdomen is raised, so during exhalation. So here you have to know this note. If the abdomen is lowered, the grasshopper has inhaled air, and if the abdomen is raised, the grasshopper has exhaled the air. These are the grasshopper form, and this is the structures. Here we have three different parts of the grasshopper. We have the head, this region, we have the thorax, and we have the abdomen. Here we have the spiracle. Anyone can help me? Why do for what do the grasshoppers use the spiracles? This is the first bonus point for semester 2. For what did this grasshopper use the spiracles for? Let's see, who will know this? Yes, Sari. Your answer is good morning, Sari.
It says it helps the grasshopper take in air.
Excellent, excellent. Have been breathing. Very good. This is the first point, bonus point. It goes for Sari. Thank you, Sari. So sparkles, they are used for breathing. Excellent. It helps air to enter inside. Thank you, Sari. Let's move now to the next slide. Here the grasshopper, respiratory movements of the grasshopper. So the air gets in through the small opening that Sari told me they are called the spiracles. And the spiracles, they are used to allow the air to enter to the body. And also they go out through the spiracle. So what do we call the respiratory organ inside the insects? So the air gets in through the spiracle. To where does the air go? Let's see, this is the second bonus point. Who will know? Yes, Aya. Aya Shimi, the first one to raise the hand. Yes, Aya, what do you think?
Trachea. The trachea.
Trachea, excellent, very good. Very good. So the air gets entered these particles and moves toward the trachea. Very good. So respiratory organ in all insects is called the trachea. Thank you. Very good. Very good, Aya. And then we move to the next slide. So here, the spiracles, they allow the air to enter and then it moves to the trachea. And the trachea is going to branch. These branches are called the tracheal. Okay, so the respiratory organ in all insects is called the trachea. So how many types of respiratory organs? Till now we know two. What are these two? Lungs in the mammals and trachea in insects. Both of them, they live on land. So here it comes the role or the turn of the fish. It's the time for the aquatic life fun. Whenever we say aquatic, here we are talking about water. So whenever you hear the word aquatic, we are talking about water. So this fish said, it's my turn. We have to start to talk about me. Does anyone talk about the fish? We are going to talk about fish. Respiratory movements of fish. Here we have two important organs in the respiratory movements of fish. The mouth and the operculum. Here, during inhalation, water will enter through the mouth of the fish. That's why the mouth is open and the operculum is going to be closed. So whenever the mouth is open and the operculum is closed, we are talking about inhalation. While when the mouth is closed, like this figure, the mouth is closed. Pay attention to this. Here, no problem, Adam. It's okay. No problem. So whenever uh, the mouth is closed and the operculum is opened, we are talking about exhalation. So here, the mouth is open. Did you notice here the figure? The mouth is opened and the operculum is going to be the opposite. It's going to be closed. While here, the mouth is closed, so the operculum will be open. So here, whenever we talk about this, we are talking about the respiratory movement. So the mouth is closed in the second figure and the operculum is open. So here, the fish respire. The notes that we have to study them are as following. During inhalation, the mouth is open and the operculum is closed. While during exhalation, the mouth is going to be closed while the operculum will open. So these notes, you have to study them. respiratory movements of fish during inhalation happens. The mouth of the fish is open. Why? Because the water will flow into the fish through the mouth, while the operculum is closed. During exhalation, the mouth of the fish is closed, while the operculum is open. So the water flows out, it goes out through the operculum. So now, what is the respiratory organ of fish? This question is going to be for Jude. What do you think, yeah, Jude? What is the respiratory organ of the fish? Can you tell me? Yes, Jude.
Yes.
What is the respiratory organ of fish? It's the operculum, it's the mouth,
Yes.
or what?
Operculum.
Operculum, do you think? Think it twice. Do you think it's operculum?
Oh, mouth.
Mouth? Oh no. It's not the mouth, nor the operculum. Who will help us? Let's know Hassan Watfa is the first one who's raised his hand. Thank you. Pay attention to know the answer. Yes, Hassan. What do you think, Hassan?
Says you unmuted me, not so.
Okay, no problem. It's okay. I'm going to mute Hassan Watfa. Hassan, what do you think, Hassan?
The gills.
The gill is excellent. Thank you, Hassan. So the gills, they are the respiratory organs. They are neither in the mouth nor the operculum. They are the gills. Thank you, Hassan. So the gills, they are respiratory organs, Jude. So the gills, they are respiratory organ in fish. Okay, so what I want from you all, can anyone give me a conclusion about the respiratory organs that we studied about them till now. How many respiratory organs? Raising your hands. Till now we have 3 respiratory organs. Okay, Lamar, the first one who raised her hand, it's Lamar. So Lamar Safiuddin. Yes, Lamar. Can you give me the 3 respiratory organs?
The lungs, the gills, and
Lungs, gills, and yes. Okay, thank you. Can we move to Adam Hayek? Adam, what do you think? Lamar said lungs and gills. We still have 1 organ. Can you tell us what is this organ?
the trachea.
Trachea, very good. Trachea, and where? In insects, very good. So here we have 3 organs. Thank you, Adam, and thank you, Lamar. So we have 3 organs. We have the trachea in insects, lungs in mammals, and we have the gills in fish. Now it's the turn for Michael Hussaini. So prepare yourself. Respiratory movements, they allow the renewal of air or water in contact with the respiratory organs. So the air will be renewed. What the meaning of renewal? They will use the oxygen and release the carbon dioxide, and that's why it's called renewal. Okay? So animals living on land like insects and mammals, the air gets in and the air gets out. Air gets in, Michael, during which process? Inhalation or exhalation? What do you think?
When air gets in, it's inhalation, and when
Excellent.
air gets out, exhalation.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. Moving now to Ali Safiuddin. Ali Nasiruddin, sorry. Ali Nasiruddin. What do you think, Ali? Whenever the water enters and the water gets out, water gets in and water gets out. Here, when the water gets in, what we are talking about? Inhalation or exhalation?
When water gets in,
Yes? For the
it's
fish, the water gets in through the mouth. So we are talking about
inhalation,
excellent. When the water gets out, we are talking about
exhalation.
thank you. Thank you. So when the water gets in, we call it inhalation, or when the air gets in. Why do we have air and water? Air for those living on land, like the insects and mammals, while water for those living in water, like the fish. Now, let's move to this. Why do animals or plants respire? What happens to the air or the water? What do they absorb from them and what do they release? Can anyone give me a hint? Adnan Arauni, it's your turn. What do you think when we are talking about absorption? What do the animals or the plants they use from the air and what do they release? So the plant, for example, or animals, what do they absorb or what do they release?
They absorb
Yes,
ri- they absorb air rich in oxygen
they
and
absorb
poor with
oxygen. Excellent. They absorb oxygen and they release what?
carbon dioxide.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Adnan. So they absorb the oxygen, they take the oxygen, and we release carbon dioxide. So here, let's move to this. We are going to talk about the exchange of air. Let's move to this. What is a respiratory gas exchange? Respiratory gas exchange. It's the passage of respiratory gases. We will know later what do we call these respiratory gases between air or water and the respiratory organs. So respiratory gas exchange, you have to know this definition. Is the passage. What the meaning of passage is the movement of air between either air or water. So it's the passage of the gases, meaning respiratory gases, between air or water. Air for animal living on land, water for animal living in water, and the respiratory organs. For example, the respiratory organ for the mammals, the lungs, insects, the trachea, the fish is the lung, the gills. So which gases are the respiratory gases? Can anyone, Noura, I want to ask you this question. Can you tell me what are the respiratory gases? Can you tell me which is the respiratory gases?
Oxygen,
And the second gas is
carbon dioxide.
excellent, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Hassan Sroor, your turn is next. Okay? So here we move to this experiment. In this experiment, we have to study the aim of this experiment or the purpose or the objective that we studied about these terms is to study the respiratory gas exchange in fish. So we have this table. This table is showing the variation of the quantity of oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen gases in milliliter as a function of time in minutes. Okay, Hassan, quantity of oxygen. At the beginning at time zero, it was zero. Time zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. At time zero, it was 7. Time 1, it's 6.6. Time 2, it's 6.4. Time 3, it's 6.2. Time 4, it's 6.1. Time 5, it's 5.8. And time 6, it's 5.6. So let's move to Hassan Surur. Hassan, what do you think? The amount of oxygen is increasing or decreasing with this fish?
Uh, it's increasing.
Quantity of oxygen
It's
is
going from high to low.
so increasing or decreasing?
Decreasing.
Decreasing, sure. So here, this table is showing the fish. We have a fish and we are studying the gases exchange. So the amount of oxygen decreases.
Raises.
While Selena Bawa, Selena, are you with us here? Selena? I don't think. Let's move to Carlo. Good morning, Carlo. Here we're going to talk
Good morning.
about the carbon dioxide in water. So at time zero, the quantity of carbon dioxide was 3 milliliter. Then it becomes 3.2. Then it becomes 3.3. Then it becomes 3.5. Then it becomes 3.8. Then it becomes 4, and then it becomes 4.1. What do you think? The quantity of carbon dioxide, it's increasing or decreasing?
Increasing.
Increasing. Thank you, Carlo. It's increasing. Now I'm going to
You're
move
welcome.
to Zainab Bustani. Zainab Bustani, what do you think? The amount of oxygen is decreasing. So what do you think? What's happening here? Can you tell me? What's happening related to the oxygen? The fish is doing what? Zainab, can you hear me? I think Zainab can't hear us. And why? Okay, we can have other students. Zainab Asi. Zainab, what do you think? Zainab Asi? Okay, also Zainab. Zainab?
Estez, can you repeat the question?
Zainab?
Yes.
Yes, I'm asking about the oxygen. So I said the oxygen amount is decreasing. So what do you think? The fish is consuming oxygen or it's releasing oxygen?
Releasing.
Releasing, it should increase. So the amount of oxygen is decreasing. So this means that the fish is consuming the oxygen. Okay? It's consuming. Now let's move to another one. I want to see Hala Safiyaddin. Hala Safiyaddin, can you raise your hand? Raise your hand, Hala. Okay, this is your turn, Hala. So quantity of carbon dioxide, Hala, is increasing from 3 to 4.1. What does this mean?
Yes.
This means if the fish is consuming, it's absorbing carbon dioxide or releasing.
Consuming.
Consuming, it should decrease. So it's increasing. So it gives us carbon dioxide. So the amount is increasing. So the fish releases carbon dioxide. Okay? Got it, Hala?
It says your voice was glitching.
Okay, the quantity of carbon dioxide, it was 3 at the beginning. At the end, it becomes 4.1. So what does this mean? This means that the fish is consuming carbon dioxide or releasing carbon dioxide.
Releasing.
That's why the amount increases, so it's releasing, it's giving carbon dioxide. Thank you, Hala. While regarding the nitrogen, it remains the same, meaning that the fish neither consumes nor releases. So it doesn't give us the nitrogen or it doesn't consume oxygen. So here, let's move to the solution. We have to transform the table into a graph. First of all, you have to put the title for the graph. Graph showing the variation of the quantity of oxygen and carbon dioxide in blood entering, and in the function of time in water. So here, you have to know that the first one is decreasing. So my question is, the graph, the red one, the amount is decreasing. So here we are talking about which of these gases, oxygen, carbon dioxide, or nitrogen. Can anyone give me the answer? Yes, Reem Safiyatin. Reem, what is your answer?
The oxygen is decreasing.
Excellent. So this red one is for the oxygen, while the second one, the amount is increasing. So this one is for carbon dioxide, since the amount is increasing. And the last one, the amount, it remains the same, the blue one. Here, I used 1 box, 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter at the x-axis, and here 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter. But I used to put dashes here because I don't have enough space. That's why I put dash and I moved to 19. Here you have to use the legend. Nitrogen is the blue, the green one is for the carbon dioxide, and the red one is for the oxygen. Let's move to the second part to interpret. At time 0, the quantities of oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen, they were 7, 3, and 19 respectively. What the meaning of respectively? Whenever I talk about respectively, I'm talking the first number for the first word. Oxygen meaning that it's 7. Carbon dioxide, it's a 3. Nitrogen gas, it's 19. Okay? That's why I said respectively. So as time passes, the quantity of oxygen decreases to reach the minimum. What the meaning of minimum? The lowest level, 5.6 after 6 minutes. So what does this indicate? This is interpret, analyze plus indication. So this indicates the fish is consuming oxygen gas. So here we can conclude that whenever it's decreased, so oxygen is a respiratory gas. While as time passes from 0 to 6 minutes, the amount of carbon dioxide or the quantity decreases to 4.1 or increases to 4.1, which is the maximum value, the highest value. So here, this indicates that the fish is giving. So no more word giving. You have to say releasing carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide also is a respiratory gas. Moving now to the third gas, which is the nitrogen. So as time passes from 0 to 6, the quantity of nitrogen, it remains constant at 19 milliliter. What does this indicate? This indicates that the fish neither consumes or nor absorb the nitrogen gas. So the amount of nitrogen gas neither consumed since it didn't decrease, or it's neither released since it didn't increase. So nitrogen is not a respiratory gases. So here, what would you deduce? The fish respires. It inhales what? It inhales oxygen and it exhales carbon dioxide since it consumes the oxygen and releases the carbon dioxide. So here you have to know all these notes and to have to review these notes later on. This is everything for this session. Next time we will continue with our lesson and we'll continue with the new exciting ideas. Thank you.